Welcome back to the London Premier League show. Today, our special guest is Emmanuel. How are you doing, bro?
I'm good, thank you. Hello, guys.
Just quickly, I know we were meant to have a show last week. A couple of people messaged me to say they were waiting for it. We decided to hold it back for a week. Being the international break, we said it gives us a better chance to round up all the latest action. But getting into the show now, the main storyline this week is Newcastle's takeover. Mike Ashley selling the club. Gonna start with James. How long before Newcastle start dominating football?
Still a long time. They got to calm down a bit. Because it's a massive thing this week. You know, he stuck to his word. If someone came in and offered the amount of money, he would sell the club. Yeah? So they've managed to sort that out. So it's massive for the club. It's massive for the fans. But in saying that, you see ridiculous things being said. I think their priority is to survive this season. And if they manage to do that, then I would give them 3 seasons to get into the top 6. So that's still a long time away from me because Newcastle, you got to attract. You're not going to attract players with Steve Bruce as your manager. So
he's going soon, isn't he?
He's definitely going. I think.
Who do you replace him with? Like you get some. They could come in for David Moyes at this rate, but I'm happy for Newcastle fans because I know a few Newcastle fans, so I'm pleased for them because it was becoming a bit toxic over there, and you don't want that with any club, And he just stuck to it. Mike Ashley stuck to his guns, and he's made a bit of money maybe, and he's honoured it once he got sorted out. But how much money they invest into the club and what sort of players they can attract, it's still going to be tough to attract them. Newcastle it's a nice enough area, but they got to show they can't just sign 1 or 2 players if they want to dominate or go and win something. They haven't won anything for years. They haven't won anything for years. But yeah, I'm pleased for the fans only. So it's good for them. Is
that for you?
I think, as well as the fans, I think economically it'll be a great boost to Newcastle as the area as well. I believe tourist attraction will definitely go up as long as Newcastle play their cards right, bring in their players. And I think it will be good to see the Newcastle fans be happy, see the area improve as well, because I feel like the northeast side of England is slightly lacking. Also, like what Mr. Dassa said, I think it will take a while, but also you got to understand FPP regulations, have to follow all of that kind of stuff. It took Man City almost 5 years or a decade to really get into the groove, so only time will tell.
Emmanuel, City no longer the richest club in England?
I don't actually care about that, but Rezafin actually said everything. Like we did, it's going to take a long transition. Like Mr. Dutson said, 3 or 4 years. So I think it's going to take a long time for them to be at the top 6 on the top level. But contrary to us, Newcastle is actually a big club. So I think they could actually do great things in the future.
Yeah, I agree. You guys have summed it up. So now moving into the latest Premier League action, we're sticking with Emmanuel. Game of the weekend, Liverpool Man City. Your thoughts on that?
Hey, this game, man. I thought if Liverpool scored the 3rd goal, we're going to lose. But then the second half, when I saw it was like balanced, I thought we had the opportunity to win the game. It's Liverpool. They're going to push us back. They're going to tackle. They're going to play. But I think we did well, to be honest. When I look at the result and the statistic, I think the game was actually balanced at the end.
Yeah, I'll jump in next. That game for me, City were all over them in the first half. I think for the last 3 or 4 years, I don't think I've ever seen a team go to Anfield and Liverpool hardly had a kick. I think for the first 15, 20 minutes, obviously, you have to get through that spell at Anfield is dangerous. But I think from the 20th minute to half time, I think even Liverpool fans, they were grateful. I had a few message me to say, I can't believe it's 0-0 at half time. And then obviously Liverpool, Klopp, obviously would have had a word with them at half time. Then they got the first goal. And then I was like, will City be able to come back from this? But they responded in the way I would expect champions to do. And yeah, it was a great game. Razanthan, you can go next.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch any of the games this weekend, but from what I'm seeing, it was an end-to-end thriller. Salah, is performing as well. he's doing his bits. I heard that Foden played well, so can't really comment much on the game, unfortunately.
James?
I only caught the last sort of 20 minutes, 25 minutes, listened to it in the car on the way home, and then called it on the telly the last 20 minutes. I thought it was a good game. I thought it looked a good game. I love seeing two quality teams go for it. I know Liverpool were a bit under the cosh in the first half, from what I was told, but I thought the second half it was good. It was sort of end to end, and you had like Mo Salah, great goal. You know, people have been knocking him for a while now. You know, for him to produce that, wow, quality just shows the quality he has. But then Man City just proved that they didn't give up. You know, and it's interesting. You look at what I want to make a point with that is not just the players, but you look at the two managers, how much they love the game and how much they want that game. They want that win. Their passion and their sort of tactical knowledge and all that came through on abundance throughout the whole 90 minutes and even before the game and after the game. You know, and I just thought it was a really good advert for like football in general in the Premier League. I think we first time we'd had that this season, a real game that showed what the Premier League's about. You know, so I thought it was good. I thought it was good. It was a shame that if I had to pick a winner, I felt Liverpool really could have held on or could have got the winner, but a draw I think was a fair reflection on the whole 90 minutes.
That's interesting. I thought if I picked a winner, it would have been City, but that's a good fair point. Sticking with you.
That shows the experience that I've got over you, young man.
Hold on, City should have won that game, bro. City should have won that game. The chances they missed, Foden in the first half, absolute criminal, but he made up for it in the second half.
Even as a City fan, I thought Liverpool should have won the game. I'm completely being honest right now because this game was so intense.
You're all smoking.
The thing is, in a game like that, if City had took their chances and all that in the first half and all that, they could have ran away with the game. Then it wouldn't have been as close. It wouldn't have been as what it was.
True.
Yeah.
But them not doing that enabled Liverpool to calm down, get to half time, come out. It shows the quality of Liverpool. That's why I think Liverpool deserved, if there was going to be a winning team, for them. They rode their luck. You know. And if teams can't dominate and score in the first half, that's how the game is. That's why it's a game of two halves. That's why it's 90 minutes. You know?
Yep.
And as simple as that. Simple as that.
Sticking with James, West Ham stung late by the bees. That's my headline on my thing. You can talk about that. Yep, West Ham stung late.
We'll talk about that because I'll make a very good point. I think Brentford, and I said it in the predictions, will survive and do well. I think they will play every team how they want to play. They won't be dictated by it. They had a good draw with Liverpool at home on the Monday night. They came to West Ham. They set up as how they want to set up. They play football. They play from the back. They passed the ball. They moved. First half, they dominated. They played really well. West Ham came out second half, woke up, played really well, dominated the second half, got the goal equaliser. Then you think a draw is a fair result. That's similar to sort of like what happens sometimes. We got our late winner at Leeds the week before with Antonio. They scored their late winner in injury time, and you can't knock it. You know, it's not what West Ham want. People will start saying, "Oh, that's twice now you've lost since you played in Europe. You win in Europe on a Thursday night, and then you lose on the next game." Well, yeah, but like you look at that, we lost to Man United when we should have drawn with Noble's penalty, and we should have held on for a draw at Brentford. So, but yeah, we've been stunned by a bee, but we're comeback fighting. Don't worry about that. Sion, don't worry. We still might finish just behind Chelsea, or maybe just in front. You never know.
Yeah, no, you were right when you said behind. You've got straight away now. Marks deducted. Yeah, the second bit you can leave that out. Read the question. Moving on to Rezampman. Is Oli under pressure?
From my perspective, yes, he should be under pressure. I think I'd like to defend my manager, as much as I can, but each game I'm losing reasons to defend him. I mean, before you could say there's a few excuses, maybe the players weren't good enough, but now it's like we have one of the best squads in Europe, top 3 minimum, undisputed. I'm just saying that out there right now. On paper, there's no reason why we can't challenge for any other team in Europe. And so for us to be, drawing games against Everton, losing against whoever it is we lost to, sorry, I can't remember.
Yeah,
it's just, and then the games we've been winning, we haven't been winning them convincingly. So I watched the Champions League game against Villarreal. We weren't convincing. You know, in the first half, Villarreal could have easily been 3-0 up had they taken the chances. And it took us a last-minute Ronaldo goal to save us for the Champions League. It's just not good enough for me personally. I think he is under pressure. I think his tactics aren't working, and you don't leave your best player on the bench, especially when there's an international break coming up. He has plenty of time to get rest. I could understand if we had a game, midweek game, so Tuesday we had a big game against someone in the Champions League, I can understand resting and bringing them on for a few minutes. But when you consider that it's international week coming up and there's no midweek games, I don't see why you don't start your best players. That's how it should be.
Yeah, I agree with him, because when I was seeing the team news, I think I had to read it twice. I was like, hold on, there's someone missing here. I was like, Ronaldo, and then I look on the bench. I'm like, oh, Ollie, I'm not sure about that. But your hopes. What about United's title hopes? Still alive?
It's not alive. Our best chances now, FA Cup or Champions League. Yeah, I have to be realistic. There is no way, unless we miraculously turn up, do a Man City last season, go 15 wins in a row. I don't see how we can come back now. These are must-win games. We haven't faced any challenging teams as of yet. I'm not counting Everton or any of these teams. They're not big teams. They're not top six or the historic top six. So I'm not really optimistic when it comes to the top six teams either. So I have to see.
Go on, James.
No, I was going to say, because if you remember a couple of times ago when we spoke about Ollie, I said his biggest problem will be selecting his starting 11. If you take Man United, you want them as title contenders, yeah? If you just look at what we talked about with Man City and Pep, Liverpool and Klopp, they both know how tactically to keep everyone happy in the squad and rotate their squad for the right game. That's where I think Ollie lets himself down. I agree with what was said. He hasn't got the tactical nous of like a Pep or a Klopp to actually select his right 11. Because you go to, as a Man United fan, I bet you go to Old Trafford, watch Man United, too many people will have a different starting 11. Whereas you go to City or you go to Liverpool, you look at who you're playing, you all know what type of 11 Pep would play and what Klopp would play. You just don't know with Ollie because he doesn't got the tactical nous, and you can't leave certain players on the bench for certain games when you're at the early on in the season and you want to get winning. There's no way certain players should be on the bench for Man United if you want to be title contenders. They should be playing week in, week out until you get into a position where you're either at the top level or at the top 3 or 4 points clear. Then you can rest the players. And that's where Ollie's different to the likes of Pep and Klopp, who are like miles ahead of him.
Yeah, I agree with James. Moving on to my club now. Obviously, United drawing the early kickoff on Saturday, that put a lot of pressure on us. We needed to respond. We lost back-to-back games to City and Juve in the Champions League. City, fair play to Emmanuel. They played us off the park, fully deserved it. Could have been more. We were never in that game. Juventus in midweek.
Striker.
Huh?
We
Yeah,
did
without
not
a
have
striker.
I just need
So
to
it's all right, man. It's all right. We won the Champions League. I'm good for now.
Cool.
Moving on, the Juventus game as well. We were poor in midweek as well. That was a different game to the City game. City game, we hardly had the ball. Juventus game, we had a lot of possession without really creating any clear-cut chances, barring one. Then we needed to respond against Southampton. It was a good win. Obviously, Southampton, they gave us a good game. And yeah, we won it late. We left it late with 2 goals in the last 5 minutes. But it's good being top of the league for now because...
Player sent off. Southampton had a player sent off.
Yeah, well, red cards are part of the game. Red cards are part of the game.
That's what helped you.
Yeah, 3 points. 3 points. That's all I care about. As long as we can scumbag our way to 3 points, I'm gladly doing it. Like, because let's say this, Liverpool and City, they're the 2 best footballing teams in the league. But if we can grind out 3 points...
I didn't realise though that Lukaku's been injured.
Well, listen, man. Did you see him for Belgium? Yesterday?
He's been injured, hasn't he? Because he hasn't been scoring.
He's been here.
So,
he's been here. Listen. Everyone made this myth that we're just buying Lukaku to be saving us every week. If we can win games and he's not scoring, for me, that's just better for us. That's better for me.
And people laughed when I said Antonio will become top scorer in the Premier League.
Oh, I didn't. Let's go back to the videos. I didn't laugh.
Okay.
I didn't laugh. But next topic now, it's going to be interesting to get Andrew's thoughts on this, being a Watford fan. I just think Watford, they've sacked their manager too early because they're 15th in the table. or 14th or something like that. They're not in the relegation places. I'm thinking, what more did their club expect? So I'll start off with Emmanuel. Did they sack their manager too early?
I think from a time that the season finishes, Watford will go down. That there's certain teams that haven't got a place in the Premier League, like Norwich. You know them teams, whatever they do, even if you have a new manager, they'll still go down. So I think it was either now or either later, the result will still be the same. But I still think it was too early.
Resentful?
Whilst I agree, he might have still got relegated. I still don't. At his current position, he's not in a relegation battle. Or I think with Watford, they have a similar DNA to Chelsea, except theirs is like months compared to like 2 or 3 years. And I just don't understand. It's just giving me West Brom 2021, 1920 vibes. Slaven Bilic got an excellent draw against Man City, and then they sacked him immediately. Just there's no correlation. Like, how can you put off such a good performance away to the best team in the league, and then and then you can't even justify why you sack him the next day? It's just Watford, they're all over the place. They can't seem to put their foot in the ground and have a consistent manager.
Totally agree with that. James?
To be fair, I'm not that bothered about Watford. To be fair, they're such a. I think I read somewhere they've had so many managers in so many years. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think I saw that 16. I think 16 in 11 years or something like that.
16 in 10 years or something it was.
Yeah,
and it's ridiculous. And there's rumours now that they got Ranieri in because they think they can do a Leicester or something. Well, you can't do anything. You can't do anything. You can't do anything if you're not consistent. That's the problem. That I guarantee you, I'll be surprised if he's still the manager at the start of next season for Watford. Yeah. So
I'll be surprised if he's the manager in January.
If I'm being honest, I don't think Ranieri should take that job. I think he should I think Ranieri should preserve his pride and his legend status in the Premier League and not join Watford.
Yeah, I agree. I think his Christmas present's going to be him getting sacked, to be honest. I think he's getting sacked soon. But I'll go to James for this. Your standout player of the season so far, being at the second international break. Who stood out for you so far?
I can't remember his name, so I feel a bit bad here. But
Yeah, I know.
and he didn't play that well yesterday, to be fair, for the England under-21s. But the guy who's on loan from Chelsea to Crystal Palace, is it Gallagher?
Yeah.
Gallagher, yeah. I've been impressed with him. He seems to be sort of like just popping up, scoring a few goals, and he seems to be sort of quite lively. So he should have a good. If he can continue, that would be a good sort of not a permanent move, but a good loan move. So I've been impressed with him. I don't want to just say it, but like Kurt Zuma's a good player. Who we've got now, so he's in. But I don't know really. It's hard to tell really because the ones that you would think could dominate at the beginning haven't really sort of stepped up or come forward. So there's obvious players like Mount hasn't really started that much. You look at people like Sterling, he hasn't really done much. How John Stones can get in the England squad without playing for Man City, I do not know. I don't know what's happened there, but he seems to get selected for England, but can't play for Man City. But I think the Man City defender's pretty good.
Yes.
They're sort of, I think he's been pretty good. But that's about it, really. There's no real sort of, not that I can sort of think, wow, stand. I think the Liverpool player, who's the guy they got from Wolves who's been Liverpool now? Is it Jota? I think he's done quite well. He's done quite well considering Liverpool have had that magic free for the last 3 or 4 seasons. I think he's done quite well. But yeah, no one really, I could say Antonio, but that's just obvious, isn't it?
Yeah. To be fair, Antonio was mine. Antonio was mine with one other.
He's standing out. He's standing out all the time, mate. And not just for his goal celebrations.
For me, it was Antonio, and I mean, it's obvious, but for me, Salah, again, I think he's kicked onto another level. Like, the way he started this season's reminded me of how he started 17-18. So, I mean, I know he's been consistent for basically since he's come to the Premier League. And I know James said it at the start. I still don't understand why there's so many question marks over his impact on games, his goal scoring ability. And yeah, I think he's just gone to another level. So it's him and Antonio for me as well. Result for you?
For me, it's Andros Townsend, surprisingly. I think he's
great shout.
As much as I don't approve his celebration, you have to give him props. You know, a free signing from Crystal Palace, 3 goals, 2 assists. He's been doing well. He's settled really well into Everton. He's been there when Calvert-Lewin couldn't.
Yeah, that's a great answer. And similar to him as well, Damari Gray as well. He surprised me. I knew he was good. Him and Townsend, for me, Everton, completely forgot about them. That was a great shout. Emmanuel?
I think I'll say Ivan Toney, the one that plays for Brentford.
Yeah, striker. Yeah.
I never actually knew the guy. So I was at the bar, was watching the game, and I was like, what the hell is this guy? I never knew they had one player that was the same potential as Sir Alan Maximum, the guy from Newcastle. He's actually not bad as well. So I'll say Ivan Toney and Sir Alex Maximum, because I think those two are very, very good.
Tony's very good. I see him on Sunday. He was very good for Brentford, even without, doesn't need to necessarily score. He's a good player. Good player.
He's got good hold-up play and stuff like that. He's very strong. Stuff I agree. Sticking with Emmanuel, your surprise team of the season so far?
I'll say Brentford. Yes. Because for me, I think when teams come up from Championship, they have the table, we're 20 in the table. I think the limit is under 15th, 14th. But I think Brentford right now are like in 7th or 8th. So I think they're actually done great. They're actually doing very good. And they could actually do like what Leeds did last year. They could stay up.
Resentful?
My team was actually Brighton. Surprising. They've done really well considering what they've done. They drew against Arsenal as well, kept a clean sheet. I know it's Arsenal, but it's still a big statement. They've been doing really well. More players also been turning up. It's good to see them doing well under Potter.
James?
Yeah, I'll go for another team then, because I agree them two are quality shouts, Emmanuel and Southampton. Both I agree with. But I'm going to go with this because I personally love the manager, because I follow a lot of him and I learn a lot from him. And he had a difficult time, and I think he's done reasonably well at the start. And that's Everton with Rafa. I think he's proved a few people, like even Everton fans, wrong a bit with actually give him a chance and he'll do quite well for you, considering the Liverpool connection. So I'd agree with Brentford and Brighton, but I'll add Everton into the mix. That they've quite surprised me a little bit, considering the sort of rumbles at the start of the season about, it's not right to have Rafa being the manager. They're not going to be able to play. He's not proper Everton. He's Liverpool and all that. So I'd go Everton. What about you, Sion?
Yeah. For me, it's Southampton. Brighton. For me, Brighton. I didn't expect them to be where they are in the league so far. They've been playing very good football. Like I know their problem last season was literally they would play good football, but it would just be taking their chances. And they seem to have improved their conversion rate this year in front of goal. So yeah, I hope they keep it up. As Southampton said, I like Graham Potter. I like his philosophy. And it's good to see Brighton doing well this season. I'll come back to James and Resantford. Emmanuel, your predictions for the title? You're going to say City, isn't it?
There's only one team. I'll say City. Of course, I'll say City. But I'm trying to be realistic, because I know there's some potential winners above of City. I was also say Chelsea. Man United, as Resantford said, I don't really think that could actually be a big challenge for us. So I'll either go with Chelsea or Liverpool, but the main one will be City. I think we'll win that game this season.
And relegation?
Our relegation are Watford, Norwich, and I think Burnley, because Burnley right now is not, they're lacking. So I'll go for them three.
James, relegation or title, whichever one. Like if you had to just pick one, I don't know.
Relegation. If my memory serves me right, I think I went Watford, Norwich, and I might have added Southampton into it, I think.
Yeah.
And I think I'll stick with Southampton. Yeah. But I do agree with Burnley and possible. I think I even had Brighton and Newcastle down there. So I think there's about 5 or 6 teams. But Brighton have done really well. I still think Newcastle could be, but I worry about Southampton and Burnley. But Norwich definitely gone. Watford, yeah, I'll agree. And for the title, if you finish above Man City, you've won the title. So I'll go Man City, possibly Chelsea. And you can't rule out Liverpool on the basis of they can put it on. But you can't draw against the top teams too many times. You've got to at least take minimum 4 points off of the top teams if you want to win the title. So Chelsea have already lost to Man City in the league. So they've got their 3 points, and that was at Stamford Bridge, wasn't it? So realistically, Man City could get 6 off of Chelsea. That puts them a little bit ahead of them for my taking. So if you finish above Man City, you've won the league. So I'm going for City for the title, closely followed by Chelsea and Liverpool, with
So
West Ham battling with United for fourth.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, okay. You've answered my question. So I was going to say, so you're ruling United out completely, but I think you've answered that.
I've answered that with my theory of Ollie is not a Pep or a Klopp, right? And he's going to struggle. If he's already dropping certain players to the bench for no particular reason, you do that in sort of February, March when you're top of the table, or do you know what I mean? You don't do that in October,
Yeah, that's
simple as, But yeah, so Man United, West Ham finished 4th and 5th.
I can't believe it. It's the way I'm just thinking of it. Man United with Ronaldo, and he's saying West Ham competing with Man United. I'm like, Ronaldo, get out, man. Ronaldo, it's time for Ronaldo. Because I think Ronaldo, he's won a trophy every year for the last 10 years, and United are going to ruin it for him. I absolutely love it. I love it, man. Resentful, you, relegation?
I'm still sticking with what I said. Watford, Norwich, and Southampton. I do believe Southampton are going to go down this year. I mean, they've lost 2 of their best players, was it Vestergaard and Ings, 2 great players, out of nowhere transfers as well. So it'll be hard to see how Arsenal will cope with this. And I wouldn't be surprised if a top 6 teams batters them 9-0 again this year.
Good shout. Good
Title?
shout.
Title, if you had to pick one team.
Oh.
For me, right now, it's between Man City and Liverpool. I think it depends how they handle. Klopp, he's not known for winning cup games or going for those trophies. So I have to see if he's really in it for this season. But if he does choose to, play his B or C team and just challenge for the league, then I could see them definitely not being too far behind Man City and Chelsea. Chelsea, I think they definitely can, but it also depends on how they squad rotate. It's not really looking good. You need to be able to manage it well, also maintaining Champions League, and that now that we've been knocked out, we cannot prioritize other competitions. But Chelsea are still in it, Man City are still in it, West Ham are still in it. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But as for my rankings, right now it stands Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man United.
Okay, so now me, I predicted Watford, Norwich, and Newcastle to go down. And as of this time last week, I was thinking I'm going to get all 3 right, because Newcastle, they've not really played anyone apart from United, and they've lost and drawn to all the teams in and around them. But I know in January now, I think I've seen something. I don't know how true it is, some sources, but apparently they can spend up 200 to 250 million in January now. So I'm probably going to agree with Emmanuel. I didn't mention Burnley at the start of the season because I just thought, Burnley, they always know how to stay afloat and stuff like that. But seeing how they've started this season, they haven't won a home game apparently since March or February, something silly like that. So right now, they're looking shaky, and I'm going to stick with Watford and Norwich. I think they're gone. They might as well just pack up and leave now. As for the title, obviously, I backed my team at the start of the season. I'm in the same position as Emmanuel. For me, if it's not us, for me, it's Man City or Liverpool. United, I just think they're done. James has already spoken about Ollie. Everything he said about Ollie, I agree with. And I don't think he's manager material for a club of United. I think he needs to take a step down, maybe to the Championship, or something like that. But that's what I think. I don't think he's a Premier League manager. He's not getting a single Premier League job when he leaves United. He's not. He's not.
You can have that. You can have that.
Yeah. Well, any final thoughts before we wrap up? Anyone wants to add?
Resumption. Would you think we will replace Oli if he's gone?
I'm not too sure. See, that's the problem. I don't want him gone until we can secure a manager that can stay, because I don't like how United's turning. We had Alex Ferguson for almost 3 decades. I don't want to have to, use the Chelsea DNA, have a manager 3 years, sack him, have a manager. I want a consistent manager that can stay at the club for at least a minimum of 5 to 7 years minimum. I thought Ole might have been that guy, considering what he produced in the last 2 years, but given the squad now, there really is no excuse. The only way he can make up for it is Champions League. I think that's
And
our best route.
just quickly before we wrap up, I know Emmanuel would be watching this. France, Spain in the Nations League final on Sunday. Anyone going to be watching that?
Of course.
James, was that fun watching that major trophy? I mean, it's a new trophy. It's a major trophy now.
When's it on? Sion? When's it on?
7:45 Sunday, Nations League final.
I might give that a watch. See Kurt Zuma.
No, I don't even know if he's in the squad or not. I don't even know. I can't lie. Was that fun? You watching it?
Yeah, I should be free, so I probably will watch it.
All right. Well, that's all for today's show, everyone. Like and subscribe and share if you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you again after the international break.